Hello, today I'll be trying to attempt the weekly contest 277. I'll be giving the virtual contest. So let's start the contest. And mind you, this is just an live solving problem. So if I cannot solve a problem, so this is not meant for, let's say, editorial. Okay, this is just me solving the problems live, nothing else. And I'll be trying to solve every problem, like all the four problems. And let's hope for the best. So let's begin. Problem number one. Okay, count elements is strictly smaller and greater than. Okay, given an integer array nums, return the number of elements that have both a strictly smaller and a strictly greater element appear in nums. Okay, strictly smaller and strictly greater. Okay, the element 7 has the element 2 strictly smaller than it, element 11 greater than it. Okay, element has, wait a minute, given integer nums, return the number of elements that have both strictly smaller and strictly greater element appear in nums. The element 7 has the element 2 strictly smaller than it, fine, and the element 11 strictly greater than it. Okay, that is also fine. Element 11 has the 11 7 strictly smaller than it and 15 strictly greater than it. Okay, in total there are two elements having both strictly smaller and strictly greater element appear in it. The element 3 has minus 3 smaller and 90 greater. Okay, since there are two elements with the value 3, in total there are two elements. Okay, 100 and 10 to the power 5. Okay, let's see. Mm, Strictly greater and strictly smaller. I want someone strictly less than and strictly greater than me. Okay, strictly smaller and strictly greater. Can I do just a brute force here, which says n 0 and int n is equals to nums dot size, and I'll just say I is less than n and I plus plus. For n j is equals to I and j less than n, j plus plus. Just check for every element if it has a strictly less than and a strictly greater than element. If yes, then increment the counter. Otherwise, just leave it. Right. And if you increment the counter, just break out of the loop. Right. Yeah, this could be a possible answer. For let's say nums of I, if nums of I, some value for nums of I is strictly less than and strictly greater. Okay, so I also have to find the less than element, right? Strictly less than. It could be anywhere. Obviously, it could be anywhere, and it could be anywhere in the array. There also. I'll try to optimize it later. For now, just find out a strictly less than element. There is no need for me to start from there. We'll say nums of I. If there exists some greater element, let's take the value of bool. Flag is equals to, let's say, false. um, Flag 1 is equals to false and flag 2 is equals to false. Could be done. Nums of I is greater than, if the nums of I, if the nums of I here is, if the nums of j is greater than nums of I, then there is a possibility. So I'll just say flag 1 is equals to true, right? I'll just say this and break out of the loop. Could be done. Yes, it could be done. Just break out of the loop and Now just find the less than element for the same. Just copy paste this and get it here. Okay, do the same thing, and instead now just find if some element is in this. So here just do flag 2, and if both flag 1 and flag 2 are true, increment the counter by 1. And let's just say there is a counter variable that is in c is equals to 0. At the end of the day, just return the value of c. Let's see. Does this work? Okay. Flag is equals to true. Okay, fine. You go to element there. Fine by me. Start comparing it with every other element, and if there is a greater element for that, do this. If there is a less than element also there, do this. And if at the end of the okay, fine, let's run this. I took a lot of time to just question number 1. A lot of time. Okay, 2 should be the correct answer. Hope this is true. 2 okay, 2 should be the answer. What is the time complexity, by the way? 100. Num select length is 100, right? So 100 should run. Brute force should be accepted. Yes, should be accepted. What is the better way can I do? I'll just optimize this later. Let's check the second problem. Rearrange array elements by sign. Okay, you are given zero index integer array nums of even length, consisting of an equal number of positive and negative integers. You should arrange the element of nums such that the modified array follows the given conditions. The conditions are: every consecutive pair of integers have opposite sign. That means if this is positive, this is negative. And what should it begin with? For all the integers with the same sign. Okay, for all the integers with the same size, the order in which they were present in nums is also preserved. Okay, for all the integers with the same sign. So if 3 is coming first, it should come first here. If 1 is coming after 3, then it should come here. It follows the subsequence. So this rearranged array begins with a positive integer. Okay, it is beginning with a positive integer. Indeed, return to modified. Okay, so what is the size of the array? Let's see first. 2 into 10 to the power 5. Okay, and it is even every time. Nums.i. Nums contains equal or positive. Okay, so always containing equal or okay, there are at least 2 elements, so there is not a possibility of it not being be formed. So let's see. 3 1. Okay, I get a 3, I get a 1, and I need to conserve its pattern as well. Conserving its pattern, can I just store them in a separate array? Let's see if I've got a 3. If I've got a 3 here, this is array 1, this is array 2. Put this here, put this here. Next, what do we say? I put this here, I put this here, and I put this here. So I'll just pick on every element one by one. That is 3. Then I'll pick this guy right here. So the thing is maintained, the order is maintained here. Then and I pick this guy right here. And -5, since it is an even length, I do not have to worry about checking if they are forming or not, right? So this is what the answer should be. Okay, 3 minus 2, 1 minus 5, 2 minus 4. Okay, this should work. This should work. So let's just say I'll create 2 vectors. Vector of int positive, and let's just say create a vector in oh no, okay, a negative okay, this will be negative. Okay, for auto itn nums if it is greater than or equals to 0, it is a positive number. Positive dot pushback it, and if it is a negative number, else negative dot pushback it, and at the end of the day, let's create a vector of int, which will be my answer. So this is supposed to be my answer, right? If this is my answer, I'll just simply say answer. You put in all the elements one by one, starting from the positive array. That is, let's see, length I is equals to 0. Yeah, since it is of even length, I do not have to worry about their lengths mismatching. So I, even if I take any of the lengths, that is position dot size, this should be fine. Okay, let's see. Mm, just take a while loop. Just take a while loop here. See, two pointers I is equals to 0 and g is also equals to 0. So what will I do is I will do, let's say, okay, I will just put in one by one the elements, right? The answer dot push underscore back. I will say, one thing, you push in I plus plus, not I plus plus, there should be position of I plus plus. This is taking the positive value, and then I say you taken the negative value. So this should be the case. This should be j plus plus, and I will say while I is less than position dot size. Since I know for sure the lengths are equal, it will not encounter any problem with the sizes being mismatched. So this should be okay. Okay, position dot size, right? Should work. 3 3. Why 3 3? Your answer is 3 3 1 1 2 2. Really? Why? Position dot. Okay, why did I just push in again position? I should have pushed in negative values. And this should work. 3 minus 2 1 minus 5 2 4. Let's take in the example test cases and go on to the next problem as well. Okay, let's submit this. Should get accepted. Okay, this is done. Let's open the next problem. How can I do better? How can I reduce this O of twice the size to O of n? Just an O of n. Or do I even need a O of n space? I can just create an answer variable of O of n. Can I just discard this too? Let's just see. If I just take in this guy right here and I find a negative value, right? I find on the negative value, but I do need to maintain the sequence as well. If I need to maintain the sequence as well, I need to find out the next negative number from there. I think a two-pointer approach should have also worked here. I'll get to this later on as well. Let's do the find next problem, that is find all lonely numbers in the array. You are given an integer array nums. Okay, a number x is lonely when it appears only once. Okay, and no adjacent number, that is x plus 1 and x minus 1, appear in the array. No adjacent number, that is x plus 1 and x minus 1, appear in the array. Return all lonely numbers. Okay, by x plus 1 and x minus 1, do I mean the numbers x plus 1th value and x minus 1th value? Return all the lonely numbers. You can return in any. Let's see. 10 is since 9 is not there, 11 is not there, and 9 is also not there. 8 is a lonely number because 7 is not there, and this is also not there. Okay. Okay, one nums dot length is 5. Okay, so I just need to find out the numbers nums of. Clearly a brute force won't work here, obviously. Can I just sort this array and try binary search in this? Hmm, I guess binary search should work here. Or can I use a map? I can just use a map, right? Just use a map. Why do binary search even? Just use a map. So I go to this guy right here. No. Let's just say I'll complete inserting it into the map by one, inserting the value of this guy, these guys right here, these guys, and so let's say I inserted 10, 6, 5, 8. Now I go on to the next pass and I'll see if 10 plus 1 exists in the map and 10 minus 1 exists in the map. If not, then add it, otherwise don't. Yes, this should work. So I'll say vector of int answer for, I'll just create unordered underscore map which says int comma int mp for auto of it and nums. I'll just say okay, so I'll just say mp of it is equals to 1. And do I always need to do 1? No, since there can be multiple instances, right? So just do, let's just do plus plus. So now I'll just see if auto of it and nums, iterate again and just check if mp dot find it plus 1 is not equals to mp dot end. If mp dot end, let's just say if it is not present only, give me time, and mp dot find it minus 1 equals to mp dot end. Both the things are not present there, so just insert it into my answer dot push back the value of it, and at the end of the day let's return the value of answer. See, I just taken these values, that is 10658, right? 10658. Let's see, 10658 has been inserted. After that, just find on the value for I plus 1 and I plus I minus 1, if I minus 1. It is not there in the map, just push back into the answer. Okay, fine, it should work. 10 8. Okay, fine, working. Example test cases 1353. Is it? Nope, it's not. It's 1353. 1 5 should have been the answer. Why is it giving me 3? 1353. If mp dot find it plus 1 is equals to mp dot end, mp dot find it minus 1, I'm checking for the values of their positive back and negative as well. Let's just see what is the problem here. It plus 1. See out it minus 1 as well. Let's see what is the problem. Shouldn't have been giving me an error. Is it giving me error? Both the values are not found. Then only do this. Okay. First I go for this guy right here. I find 2, 0, no. So I add it into my answer. Fine. Then I go here and I find for 4 and 2. I do not find it. But I do not find it. Okay, I do not find it, so add it into my answer. Okay. Wait a minute. 1 is a real number, okay. 5 is a lonely number. It appears exactly once. Okay, it appears twice. Appears only once. Okay, I missed this condition. Okay. And there should also be one more condition added here. This MP of IT is equals to 1. The value of IT should also be equals to 1. That means it is present only once. Yep. Let's submit this. This should work. 10 to the power 5, right? Yeah, it should work. 10 to the power 5 should work. Okay. What can I do better here? Let's see. What can I do? For auto of IT in nums, what can I do here? Auto of IT in nums, NP of IT is equals to 1. What can I do better here? Let's get to the next question. I'll just try that later. What can I do? Do I really need to do it in 2 passes? There has to be some way to do it in 1 pass. Map is the only sufficient way, is there? I mm, I can also do a array, right? Nums of I is 10 to the power 6. Array should work of 10 to the power 6. It is of a huge size. We really need to use a map here. Can I not just use array? Array should work here as well. Can it be done in a O of one space? Can it be done in a O of one space? I'll have to check this later as well. Let's get to the last problem. What is it? Maximum good people based on statements. There are two types of person: the good person, the person who always tells the truth; bad person, the person who might tell the truth and might lie. You're given a zero indexed 2D integer array. Okay. Statements of size. You're given a zero indexed 2D integer array. Statements of size n cross n. Find represents the statement made by n people about each other. What is the time left? Let's see. Now taken a lot of time. To do these four. Okay. We are given a zero index 2D integer array. Statements of size n cross m that represents the statements made by n people. Okay. About each other. More specifically, statements of ij could be one of the following. 0 represents, okay, I've been given a 2D integer statements of size n cross n made by n people. Okay. Ij could be 0 represents a statement made by a person I. Okay. That person, it is made by a person I. That person J is a bad person. 1. Which represents a statement made by a person I. Okay, the person I is always making the statement and the person J is a good person. 2 represent no statement. There is no statement. 2 represent that no statement is made by person I about J person. Okay. Additionally, no person ever makes a statement about themselves. Formally, we have the statements I of I is equals to 2 for all I less than n. Let's see. Return the maximum number of people who can be good based on the statement made by n people. 2 represents that no statement made by I person about J person. Formally, we have that statement of I. Statement made by the ith person, I is equals to 2. Okay, or yes, because no statement can be made by themselves. Return maximum number of people who can be good based on the statement made by n people. I have to find the maximum number. Let's see the example and understand it better. So 212 has been given. Okay, what is the input format as? 2D integer statements of size and count. The statements made by n people about each other. Most specifically this. which represents a statement made I by person I. That person J is a bad person, a good person. So okay, so this is I and this is J. Each person makes a single statement. Person 0 states that person 1 is good. Person 0. This guy right here states that person 1 is good. Person 1 states that person 0 is good. What? What is the input format as? Two types of person, good person and a bad person. Okay, zero indexed. 2D integer array statements of size and color that represent the statements made by n people. Okay. Statements of ij could be one of the following: 0, 1 and 2. Okay. Statements of ij. This one right here. Okay. Statements of ij. Statements of 0, 0. Each person makes a single statement. Person 0 states that the person 1 is good. Person 1 is good. Person 1 states that person 0 is good. Okay. Person 2 states that person 1 is bad. 0 means bad, right? Okay. Let's take person 2 as the key. Person 2 as the key. 0, 1, 2. Okay. Assuming that return the maximum number of people who can be good. This one statements made by them. Okay. Assuming that the person 2 is a good person based on the statement made by person 2. Person 1. Oh, I need to read this question again. What is the statement? You are given a zero indexed 2D integer array statements of size n cross n that represents the statement made by n people. It has been made by n people. What is the time left? No, not a. You are given a zero indexed 2D integer array statements, okay, of size n cross n that represents the statement made by n people about each other. More specifically, ij could be one of the following: 0, 1 and 2, which represents a statement made by the ith person that person j is bad. 0 represents statement made by the person I that person J is a bad person. I is 0. Jth person is said to be nothing. This one's good. This one's again nothing. The ith 1th person is saying this is what this one's good, and these two are useless. Okay. Again, this person 2 is saying this person is of no use, and this one is a bad guy, and this one's a again useless guy. Okay. Each person makes a single statement. Person 0 states that person 1 is good. Okay. Okay. Let's take person 2 as the key. Why do I need to take person 2 as the key only? Person 2 as the key. Okay, let's take it. Assuming that person 2 is a good person. Is he a good person? Based on the statement made by person 2, person 1 is a bad person. Surely it's a bad. Now we know for sure that person 1 is bad and person 2 is good. This one statement made by person 1, since person 1 is bad. The one is that they could be telling the truth. There will be a contradiction in this case, and this assumption is invalid. N is what? 15. So ij is the question statement isn't clear to me right now. We are given a zero indexed 2D, okay. Statements of size n cross n that represents a statement made by n people. Okay, so person 2 is a good person. Person 2 is a bad person but said the truth. Assuming person 2 is a bad person and lied. I need to figure out if they are telling me a lie or a truth here, right? So I'm assuming it. I'm assuming it to be that way. 0 states that person 0. Oops, 57 minutes left only, and I've still understood the question properly. 0 states that lying in this case, person 0 is also a bad person and lied in this statement. Following that person 2 is a good person, there will only be One good person in this group. The explanation is still not clear. There are two types of okay, 0 and 1 is there. Size n cross n. That represents a statement made by n people about each other. More specifically, statement of ij could be one of the following: 0, 1 and 2. I, person I, that person J is a bad person. There are three persons, that is 0, 1 and 2. Zeroth person, first person, second person. The zeroth person is telling that the zeroth person is no statement. The first person is a good person. The second person, no statement. He is telling that first person is good. He himself nothing. This guy is also nothing. And the second one is telling the first person he does not know anything. The first person is a liar. The second person also does not know anything. Mm, Person 0 states that person 1 is good. 0 states that 1 is good. 1 states that 0 is good. 2 states that 1 is bad. And there could be three conditions, right? For every condition right here, I know that person 1 could either be telling me the truth or he could be telling me a lie. These are the two conditions, right? Assuming that 2 is a good person. Now, he could be telling me a truth or he could be telling me a lie. This guy also could be telling me a truth or could be telling me a lie. Again, a truth or a lie. So, this is the thing. If this guy is telling me a truth, right? What do I know so far? I know so far that if this guy is telling a truth, then all these guys' statements will be made null and void. Yes. According to this guy, that guy is the first guy is the zeroth guy is doesn't know. Okay. The second guy no is a bad guy. B, and again this guy knows nothing. If it is the truth, if it is the truth, if I assume that this is the uh, if this guy is telling me a truth and if this guy is telling me a lie, in this case, based on statement where person 2 is a bad person, now we know for sure that person 1 may the person 2 is good. Made by person based on statement made by person 1. I go to person 1. Since person 1 is bad, they could be okay. I'm telling that person 1 is a bad person. Statement made by this guy. Now I know now this can have repercussions that either this guy is telling me a truth or this guy is telling me a lie. Thing is, there will be a contradiction in this case, and the assumption is invalid. If this guy is telling the truth, there will be a contradiction. And if this person is lying, in this case, the person 0 is also a bad person and lying in their statement. If yes, okay. So since this guy is telling, person 1 is telling that the person 0th is truth, then that means if this guy is lying, ultimately means that this guy is also lying. So this cancels. But let's say if this guy is telling the truth, which the claim for 2 was that this guy is a bad guy, and then the claim made by 2 was that 1 is a bad guy, but 1 is not a bad guy here. So the truth and the bad guy will contradict each other and cancel out. So this is invalid. This cannot be an assumption that is made. Okay, we are getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Following that a person 2 is a good person, there will only be one good person in the group. Yes, that is the person 2 himself. Assuming that person 2 is a bad person, now there can be many multiple. Okay, person 2 is a bad person based on statement made by person 2. Since the person 2 is bad, there could be telling the truth based on statement. Again, I assumed at first that this guy is telling me the truth. Then there was multiple conditions to it, telling me that either the person that this is linked to is either right or either is wrong. Now, if this person too is telling a lie, if this person too is telling a lie, what are the conditions? Following the person too is bad, but told the truth. A person can be good or a person can be bad, but the person bad can also say the truth. Okay. Told the truth. There will be no good persons in the group. Person 2 is bad but told the truth. There will be no good persons in the group since he's telling that 2 is invalid, 2 is also invalid, but there this guy right here, person 1 is 0 since it is bad. So their answer will come out to be 0 if this assumption is true that the person 2 is a bad person but still he's saying the truth. Okay. Following that person 2 is bad. Okay, I took care of this condition as well. In this case, person 1 is a good person. Okay, wait a minute. Following that person 2 is a bad but told the truth. There will be no good persons in the group. Okay. Now comes the case of lying. If this person was telling the truth, there were multiple conditions. Now, if the condition is if the last guy is a bad person or a good person, this was for the good and this was for the bad. So for bad also there could be two possibilities, that he is telling the truth or he's telling a lie. So this was a lie, so I took care of the truth condition also. Now comes the lie condition. If this guy is lying altogether, so if this guy is lying altogether about everything, so does this guy's statement matter? I don't think so. So what is it written? Since in this case person 1 is good person, lying in this case the person 1 is a good person. Okay, yes, obviously. So if whatever this guy is making a statement about is null and void, if he's telling the wrong, or if he's telling a lie. What is the time left? Oh, nope. I do not want to cancel. No, 46 minutes. I wasted too much time. Following the person 2 is bad and light, both altogether. Person 1 is good since person 1 is person 0 is also good a person. Okay, if there is a statement that this guy made, then I say it can be bad or
Yes,
it can
sir.
be good. So there is a condition that if it is bad, then all these conditions made are null and void. So I know now these two persons could be good or could be bad. I do not know of right now. Right? I do not know. Surely. Got that. So following that two is bad and light. That since one is a good person, person zero is also a good person. Following that person two is bad and light. There will be two good persons in the group. Assuming this is the assumption that is made, right? We can say that at most two persons are good in the best case. So we return true. Note that there is more way than one way to arrive in the conclusion. Yes, I took 2 as this, right? Why did I need to take 2 as the key? Why did I need to take 2 as a key? 2 is the only guy who is telling me that there is one person who is a bad person. If there are multiple 2's, it affects nothing. But if there is a 1 or a 0, then it is affecting my answer. So I can either possibly take 0 or I can either possibly take uh, 1. And what have I drawn? So what do we have? Now here I've got multiple zeros, so I can either start from any one. Let's say I start from here, 2 0 and 0 2. So there can be many conditions. Person 0 is telling me that person 0 is nothing but person 1 is a bad person. Assuming that person 0 is a good person. We are assuming that the person 0 is a good person. Person 0 is a good person. Person 0 is a good person. Assuming person 0. If I'm assuming that person 1 is a good person, then that means he's telling the truth. Tells me that 1 is bad. Now this guy right here could be either lying. Sorry. Let's take person 0 as the key. Person 0. Let's take person 0 as the key. Assuming that person 0 is a good person. Based on statement where the person was bad and was lying. Okay, following that the person 0 is a good person, there will only be one good person in the group. Assuming that person 0 is a bad person. Okay, if there is a value that is 1, there could be multiple choices. Either that could be bad or either that could be truth. What are the key observations that we get here? Let's say I start from here. If the value is 1, for sure, I will have to check. Now this guy is self-proclaimed a good person. So this could either be true, he could be telling me the truth, or he could be lying. But beforehand, I also need one thing. This is my first 0th person. Could be a good person or a bad person. Now comes the multiple cases. That means now if that person is good, he could be telling me the truth or he could be lying. Now again, this person is a bad person. He could either be telling me the truth or he could be lying. So these are the two conditions. Now if this person is telling me the truth, assuming that this person is telling me the truth, the next condition is that these become invalid. They do not take. Now this person And what do I need to return? Max and who can be good based on statement made by n people. Okay, I need to take on the best possible answer. That means by assuming every each person. What is the time? It's 2:26. Contest. Okay, I think I'll be ending the session right now. I'll try to do this problem later since this is taking too much time and I have some work also. Yeah, that is it for this contest. Thank you for watching. Oh, I do not want to give up. I'll try this. I'll try this. Let's just stop this. I'll try this. Okay, I'll try this later.